Hello, I'm Dr. Stacy Reuille-Dupont. Today we're going to talk about ADHD. Having ADHD can be a positive. It's something that makes us able to bounce from idea to idea, task to task, and handle a lot at once. Many ancient tribes revered what are suspected to be their ADHD members because they were the ones who found new hunting lands, water sources, and were fierce warriors. By nature, people with ADHD are often risk takers and willing to go beyond the boundaries others feel contained by. The ADHD person often forgets the boundaries are even there or why they exist if it doesn't make sense to them. And before they know it, they've gone off the beaten path just because they saw something interesting. This is still true today. It's just in the classroom, on the work project, or when cooking a meal. Not always to great results. So unfortunately, many of us with ADHD were shamed for our inability to stick with a project or task, sit still and stop interrupting, or for having lots of ideas at one time. ADHD is about how the brain processes information. In the ADHD brain, parts of our brain run just a little bit different than other parts, and this makes it hard for us to concentrate and focus. We bounce from idea to idea, sometimes without even noticing it. Today, here are 5 ways to hack your ADHD and make it work for you. First, let's look at your impulsivity. For many with ADHD, they're impulsive. On one hand, this is great. They spring into action. They aren't afraid to take risks. However, when we're meeting our partner's boss and we impulsively comment on their outfit without thinking about it first, we might find ourselves in trouble. And part of learning to work with our impulsivity is to have a few tools to really help us ground. So first, notice your own pattern. When and how does your impulsivity show up? Notice which foods make you feel more antsy. Notice how impulsive you are after you haven't slept well, and how much movement you need in a day to feel calmer on the inside. My experience with clients is that impulsivity is a product of other things that we can shift to regulate more effectively. It doesn't mean it completely gets rid of their impulsivity, but it's our ability to shift, because our impulsivity is our ability to shift our intention and focus quickly. That's a gift, but we're able to work with it rather than be a slave to it. Second, distractibility. The ADHD brain is great at this one. We can be doing one project and then suddenly be doing another. We look out the window, we start thinking about the tree and then the leaf and then wonder about the root system. And then we think about the tree next to it and then the trees around the world. And before we know it, we've got all sorts of stories going in our head. It's a great skill for putting together abstract and unthought of patterns and concepts. Not so great when you have to finish something and just get something done. So for many of us, we don't realize that when we can own and work with our own brain, it's better than just trying to make ourselves fit in like others. And as a result of struggles to focus, we often procrastinate. We can't figure out where to start, so we don't. We just know if we wait a minute, we'll be thinking about something else anyway. Often procrastination is just about having enough stimulation so that we can focus. The ADHD brain needs stimulation to get things going. It needs information coming in to actually focus on one thing. So having music, dancing a minute, watering the plants, walking in circles around the house for a bit, even studying at the bar or restaurant are great ways that we can build in external stimulation so that the brain has enough to focus on. Then it makes it easier to get anything started. Most of us weren't taught how to do this. We were told to slow down, sit still, which could be the exact opposite of what you actually need to focus and learn. So third, let's move. People without ADHD often feel like the fidgeting and the looking around and the fast speech or speed when we walk is overwhelming and stressful. But for us, it's actually a way to get in our bodies and get them engaged and help our brain slow down enough to focus. We're giving the brain more information at one time to help it have the things to do so we can concentrate. Many of us are what we call kinesthetic learners. We need movement to learn, and we live in our bodies in a very embodied existence. We find this all-in sensory experience to be enjoyable and are really quite confused why others wouldn't want to get moving. Go do stuff, use their hands, make stuff happen. Rely on the body to ground your thoughts. It's your friend. You might need to tap your toe inside your shoe or wiggle your hand a little bit. Stand on your toes just slightly so you can bounce a little bit. These small movements do not need to be large or distracting to others, and in fact, working to make them small and unnoticeable may actually help you focus more. The extra stimulation helps slow you down a bit and help you decide if you should say that thing that's on the tip of your tongue. Feel free to apply a little pressure to that tongue until you're ready to speak. Just don't hurt yourself. Movement is your medicine. Make sure you don't skip your workouts. Movement is the friend of those with ADHD. It helps focus the body and mind in rhythm. And when you've made sure to get your workouts and movement practices in every day, You'll enjoy a calmer existence. For ADHD, we often need a combination of movements, from fast to slow and back again. We need compound movements. We need a variety of exercises every week. And we usually get pretty bored with slow yoga type movements, and machine weights. Often doing a quick HITT cardio blast right before weights can help us get our head in the game and give just enough focus so our weight training session is optimized. Movement is your medicine. Do not skip taking your daily dose. With all the unique things and experiences people with ADHD have, many do not know how to communicate their needs to family and friends, teachers and coworkers. So our fourth hack today is learning to communicate clearly. We do not know how to express ourselves clearly because our thoughts and words get tripped up in so many at once. We have so many details of the story, we can't figure out how to let go of some of them because we need them to make sense of things, and we don't always operate with a great filter. Communicating with ADHD can be hard. Often thoughts come into our head and out of our mouth in the same breath. Effective communication is all about knowing your audience, being clear in your requests and statements. This is often hard for the ADHD brain, where we feel like there are so many options, thoughts, colors, images, items to explain what we are really thinking and feeling. We often can express a lot using our hands, and remember, movement is our friend, as I just spoke about earlier, but it can be distracting or inappropriate depending on the person we're talking with, the time, the place. So you want to learn your own communication style. Are you an expressive person or someone who speaks in bullet points? Do you want to have everyone around the table be friends and get along, or do you just really care about the details of the project and making sure they're correct? It is important to figure out your communication style strength and then learn about the others. This helps make you effective shifting your communication output to match the other person. Sometimes this means we do a little of ours and theirs to be effective and feel heard. Other times we just send that email in their style. Another big thing for ADHD communicators is to start learning to notice when others are tuning you out. Many of us have been there, where the other person has that glossy, glass-eyed look. We've been talking for how long? We have no idea. How many times have we interrupted? No clue. Our energy has risen. How high? Because we're so excited about the topic. Did we shut the other person down with these pieces of our experience? As you get better at noticing how the other person is responding to your communication, you get better at turn taking, and then use the movements we talked about earlier in the video to help you stay focused on their words and concepts. Those small movements can help you stay present. If it's hard to stay focused on what the other person is saying, it may be time to take a short break. Walk around the office, excuse yourself for the bathroom, doesn't mean you have to go. Go get more food, move to a new group of people to introduce yourself to and meet. Sometimes we just need to shift our focus for a short period of time to be ready to launch back into that intense or long discussion. Fifth, consider time. For ADHD, time often runs on a different schedule than other people's concept of time, and that's okay. However, living in a world of linear time means you have to figure out how to work within that world too. You want to set some timers on a day when you aren't rushed and get a true gauge of how long things take for you. How long does it really take you to get ready for work? How long to really read through that report? How much time do you really need to get out the door? Often people with ADHD take longer to complete things. The beauty is it's usually because they're noticing a lot of things other people aren't seeing, thinking, and hearing. They're really good at noticing, just not always great at grounding that information in their body. The problem is all that noticing takes brain power and makes it hard to remain focused on the task of just getting out the door for your morning commute. Of course, that's just about the time you remember where you put your shirt you wanted to wear today but couldn't find, so now you go get it. Lo and behold, you find the shoe you were looking for last week. You're so excited, what luck. However, all that treasure hunting is not going to get you out the door on time. Once you have an accurate gauge of how much time it really takes you to accomplish your tasks, then we need to plan your schedule accurately around those times. Make sure you consider transition and transport timing. They often get forgotten, so it's good to add some padding in around each item just to allow yourself some joy in noticing your environment. Because remember, you're going to be taking in a lot of information anyway. All those hacks just to say, if you have ADHD, you need some structure. However, ADHD folks often hate structure because it is so hard to stick to. They tend to create rigid structures based on how the rest of the world would like them to be, and then fail miserably at them. For a person with ADHD, we can build flexible structure. We have a couple of morning routines, a couple of evening wind down options. We have our daily commutes that we can fit within our time needs and go different directions. We can stick to the timing and the process, but change up the actions. This way it helps us make sure we stay on track, focused, and creating the life we want, while working with our gifts and helping ourselves stay away from pitfalls. When we approach our mental health with a place of acceptance, we can learn to work with what we have. We can use our gifts for our benefit and strengthen our weaknesses, shifting the way we think about things. We can make sure to choose the right environments for us and say no to activities we know will be disastrous given the way our brains work. When we are clear about what we need to be successful, we can communicate those needs and behaviors with acceptance and joy to our loved ones and help them work with us rather than against us. So today, take stock of what is working, what is not, and begin to accept yourself just as you are. Then you can decide which areas you need to focus on to improve and where you want to build better patterns for more success. If you are interested in learning more about how to thrive with ADHD, click the link below to read about psychology and physiology on my blog, or check out our upcoming program for women with ADHD and hack the way your mind and body create health from the inside out. If you liked this video and you want to understand more about how your psychology is really in your physiology, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. As an exercise scientist who turned into a clinical psychologist, I blend both disciplines to help you work on changing your life one small step at a time. If there is something you'd like to see more of in the psychology and physiology realm, please reach out. I love to create more videos that help people take control of their lives, or at least their perspective of how life is going. Small changes over time build your health from the inside out. And if you're a woman with ADHD struggling to take action in your life, maybe don't know where to start or just want a guide, join us for our 30-day Women in ADHD program. We run this program throughout the year and focus on specific needs women with ADHD have. Guys, we're working to build one for you too. We're just not there yet. This program is all about owning what's great about ADHD. We'll address the usual difficulties like impulsivity, lack of follow-through, and overwhelming idea streams. Plus, we'll also look at building our ability to use these tools to help you stay on track. We'll deal with self-worth, increase our ability to follow through, feel accomplished, the fatigue that comes with having so many ideas at one time, and the difficulty communicating what your needs are to family and friends. If you're ready to find your tribe of others who can follow multiple threads of thought at once, have lots of energy and creativity, ready to learn how to harness the gifts of your distractible brain and make it work for you rather than against you, then this program is for you. Over the course of 4 weeks, we'll target the hardest pieces of ADHD and learn tips and tricks that you can use to hack your own patterns. We'll look at impulsivity, distractibility, procrastination, communication effectiveness. We'll use movement and diet to support you. And we'll also consider time management skills and the love-hate relationship that many with ADHD have around structure. This program goes after all those old hurts and helps us heal the shame, frustrations, low self-esteem, embarrassment, and guilt as a result of our distractible brain. Using email, we'll have a daily focus and skill to practice each day. We'll meet one time a week for an hour-long live group coaching session where we'll focus on the topic of that week, and then a Q&A session to really help target what you are struggling with. As part of the program, you'll get a meal plan and a grocery shopping list, workouts to help make sure that you're maximizing the benefits of a healthy body and mind, using exercise and nutrition to manage your ADHD. Thank you for watching, and make a great day happen today. Be well.